Good morning. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to my home studio. Make sure we're in line here. Looks good. I feel like I have a different frame again today, so we work with what we have. Here's my mantra. Here's where my mantra comes in. We're doing the best we can with the resources and information we have on any given day. There you have it. That's the words I live by. So here we are, working with the frame that we have today. It's Annie from Eden Move Milwaukee. Welcome back. Thank you, Milwaukee Rec Department, for keeping us connected during this time. This is our Thursday morning yoga zone practice, and today I've chosen upper back, so toning, strengthening, and stretching the upper back. So with that, it's hard to target the upper back without then targeting the chest as well. So as we open up in this way to tone the upper back, we end up getting a stretch across the chest, and as we end up stretching the upper back, we sometimes end up engaging the chest. So they go hand in hand. In fact, a few years ago now, when I had a neck injury, part of what I needed to rehabilitate was to build strength here in my shoulders, of course, to support that in a healthier way. And I did a lot of work over the years in restaurants where I was just hunched over. So these muscles here were extremely weak, and I don't know what was happening with the upper back, but it was also in bad shape. So part of what I needed to do to move forward and get better and stronger there was to really focus on building chest and upper back. So again, they go hand in hand. So hopefully you'll find some benefits of this. We often talk about lower back and strengthening lower back. A lot of people have issues with lower back, but that upper back is not to be ignored either. So let's come to our mats. We'll start in a seated position. If you want to take a block and put it under your sit bones, take a moment to do that. Excuse me. So, sorry, just a little tickle in my throat. So we'll take a couple of extra breaths today. It's Thursday, it's been kind of a week for all of you, but we have, the weather is changing. So let's just take an extra couple of breaths or an extra few breaths in our centering here to just pull it back in, rearrange, regroup before we head into this weekend here. So find that tall spine. Maybe you have those hands on the knees, palms facing down. You might connect the thumb and the pointer finger. You might also bring the palms up to gather any good energy, that universal energy that is available to us. There's also the option of placing one palm open on top of the other, joining the thumbs in more of a contemplative mudra here. So find whatever feels good for you. If there's something totally different, or you'd rather have those legs outstretched. Okay, last little cough there. You could close those eyes or look down at the earth in front of you. You notice those shoulders, back, chest for just a moment. Not putting too much focus there yet, but just kind of checking in, knowing where we're going with our theme today. Is there anything that you feel already in those places that you might want to release? And that chest, of course, relates to our heart chakra, anahata. So we have an opportunity to do some work. That chakra is not just the front, even though it's the heart chakra. It goes all the way through. So working there today, maybe that's a place that is a good place to start at this point in the month, the season, the year, checking in with our heart as well. See if you can find even a taller spine. Pull that navel into the backbone. Let those knees drop open if you have those legs folded. Notice that breath. let that breath out audibly if that would help to clear the path for additional breaths. Slowly allowing that breath to rise to the crown of the head. Notice a slight pause at the top. And then slowly release, following that breath down to the base of the spine. Notice another slight pause there before you take that next round of breath. Just keep that moving very slowly. Maybe you picture that breath traveling in a circle, an orbit, a straight line. I invite you to set your intention for this practice. What is it that you need at this point in your week? Take one more breath. And you can keep those eyes closed. We'll bring those hands to heart center. Notice the fingers on one hand touching each finger on the other. Just bring yourself to that mindfulness, that presence right here. Just feel the other hand. And then start to rub those hands together, creating a little bit of heat. And gently bring those hands cupped over the eyes. Start to open the eyes, readjusting to the light of your space. And gently, very slowly, let those hands drop away. If you have a block under the sit bones, you might remove it now. We'll move into our first pranayama, our first mindful breathing exercise. So working into both the chest and the upper back, opening that heart. We're going to try our square breath in a seated cat-cow. So as we usually take tabletop with cat-cow, we're dipping, arching the back and then rounding. We're going to try that from seated. So I invite you to place those hands on the knees. It's kind of a little handlebar here as we move. Find that tall spine again. And then in your first breath, send that heart forward. You don't have to really pull on those knees, but you might use them. Breathe in 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here, hold the breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, slowly round it out, stretching that upper back. 3, 2, 1. And stay here. The breath is out. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, send that heart forward. 3, 2, 1. Hold here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Round it out. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. And remain here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take 2 more rounds at your own pace. Maybe the eyes are closed. You're working on, or you're focusing on the articulation of the spine, the movement of that breath. then slowly come back to center. Take your time finishing. When you're done, we'll just start to make some gentle circles with the hips. Round and round. How slowly can you go? Can you take that breath in when you come around the back? Exhale to the front. And then we'll switch directions. And all the way back to the center. We'll start to warm up the spine. Take those arms up to the sky. Reach up. Drop the shoulders away from the ears on an exhale. Maybe wiggle those fingers. You could even rotate through the wrists. Take another breath in. Reach up, extending the spine. And then exhale, take that bend to the right. Reach through those fingertips. So first, reach for that place where the ceiling meets the wall. And then perhaps you take it over, noticing that big, long stretch on the left side, creating space for breath. Stretching all those little muscles between the ribs, the intercostal muscles. Inhale back to center, big stretch here. And exhale over to the left. Again, reach through those fingers. How long can you make that arm? And take it a little bit deeper, keeping both of those sit bones on the mat. So not allowing this leg to come up. Inhale back to center. Slowly float those arms forward. This doesn't have to be super deep yet or at all. Creep those fingers out if that feels good for you. Keep aiming those sit bones down into the earth. So again, not leaning forward so they're coming off. Just letting those hands float down to wherever they are right now. Reach the crown forward as we take one more breath. Exhale, melt the heart down. And then inhale back up. Let those arms keep moving as we rotate through the shoulders. Plant those hands on the earth. Press into the heels of the hands and open up that chest. Walk those shoulder blades together. So again, we're targeting the chest and the upper back today in our practice. Inhale up. Exhale, let's take a twist to that first side. Find length as you breathe in, and then depth as you exhale. Next breath in brings that back arm across to the opposite knee. We're crossed at the elbows here. You could take those hands to opposite shoulders or twist them up into eagle arms. You could have the backs of the hands together or fingers to palm. So notice here at first that we have maybe a bit of a stretch across the upper back. Find that tall spine, pull the navel in, and then notice if you want to stretch those arms, those hands up to the sky. How does that change the stretch in the upper back? If you want to go deeper, press those elbows away from the body. Big stretch across the scapula. Maybe feeling it in the trapezius, coming down from the neck and across the shoulders. One more breath in, lift those hands a little higher. And exhale, slowly release arms. Inhale up again. And exhale, let's twist to the other side. So again, find length here as you take that first breath in. And then exhale, deepen. Next breath in brings that back arm to the opposite knee, crossing the arms in the opposite way. You could take those hands to shoulders. Or maybe you want to try twisting them up a little bit more deeply. So you could stay here or start to raise those hands to the sky. Notice that stretch through the upper back. And then maybe you press those elbows away, going deeper with that stretch. Breathe. Reach the hands up a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale, take the arms up. And then let's shake those arms all the way down. We'll start to gently bring these legs out. I've been focusing in some practices recently on just guiding those parts of the body, like really taking care, like this is the most delicate thing you can imagine as you lay that leg out. Moving very slowly and with intention. Let's shake out those legs, give a little bit of a tap here. And then we'll work into stretching those legs a bit more, still warming up the spine and continuing with our theme. Let's take a breath in. Exhale, start to reach out beyond those toes, like you're going to reach the floor way ahead of you. So reach out from those hips and then start to fold more deeply. So it may not be a really deep fold, but we're keeping that back, keeping that back nice and long, that spine nice and long. And then use your breath to go deeper. Next breath in brings us back up, and we float those arms down. Let's hug that left knee into the body. Find a tall spine here. And then we'll take that leg and cross it over. You could keep it on the same side. If it goes flat, once you cross it over that long leg, take it there perhaps. We'll circle through that left arm and then hug or hook the other elbow across that knee. Take a breath in, find length, and then we twist once again. Notice that twist all the way through the back, focusing on that upper back and the chest. And bringing that arm behind us for that kickstand. How does that open the shoulder? Can you open it even more? Can you open the chest even more here? Take one more breath in. Exhale, let's take a counter turn. Noticing any shifting, snap, crackling, and pop in the back. No pain, hopefully. Gently send that leg all the way out, placing it there. Let's bring the other knee in, give it a hug. And then you can let it rest here, or you might cross it over. Gently rotate through that right shoulder, planting that kickstand. You can always have a block under that hand in the back to bring that floor up to you. All of our proportions are different. Hug or hook that front knee. Take a big breath in, find that length again, and then twist. One more breath in. Exhale, take that counter twist on this side. Unwind. And gently we bring this leg back out, guiding it. Take those arms out to the side. Really reach through those fingers. Maybe you flex those toes, pointing the toes back towards the shins. Lift up out of the hips. Draw the navel into the spine. How tall can you sit? Keep reaching those arms out to the sides. Take a breath in. And then we sweep the left arm under the right. We're going to cross again. So taking this eagle arm position, if you took it a moment ago, we're going to try it in a little different way. So you can have these hands on opposite shoulders, or you might cross or twist into those eagle arms. Take a breath in, sit tall here, and then exhale, start to fold forward. So you can soften those knees as much as needed, or maybe you want to press the backs of the knees down to the earth, getting a deeper hamstring stretch. Keep reaching those fingers out to the toes. Exhale, melt more deeply. Inhale, back up. Exhale, release those arms. Inhale, and let's shake them out. Take the arms back to the sides. Reach through those fingers. Find that length in the spine once again. Breath in. And then exhale. This time we take the right arm under the left. And you can cross, take opposite shoulders, or twist up. Notice if one side feels different than the other. Take a breath in, lift those arms up to the sky, or elbows up to the sky, depending how you have them crossed, and then start to fold. With each breath in, see if you can reach those hands or elbows a little bit farther out, and then fold. Next breath in brings you back up, and exhale, release. Inhale the arms up, and then shake them out once again. I'm going to turn sideways here. We're going to make our way down to our back. I'm giving you the option of using the core here to take this slowly down to the mat. So get down to your back however you want. If you'd like to try to challenge the core for a moment, you can stay right here in this tall staff pose, Dandasana. Bring those hands out and slowly lower. So with this, try to pull that navel in like you're snaking your way back through a tube. Slowly coming down. Can you keep those feet on the earth? Usually there's a point where I kind of plunk down. I'm getting better at making that last, and then I have to let it go. Let's take a full body stretch here. Exhale, take those knees into the chest. Let's just rock back and forth. Notice your breath. Let's take those legs up to the sky. Reach through those heels, stretching those legs a little bit more here. And then bring those knees into the chest and draw those knees wide. So before we go anywhere else with the legs, notice that upper back. How can you spread those shoulder blades out on your mat? Notice. Then we let the soles of the feet come up to the sky, and we move into happy baby. So again, see if you can keep those shoulder blades really stretched out. Keep that chest really spread out as you take a bind. So maybe you start by just drawing those thighs in towards the chest. Are you able to keep those shoulder blades broad? Maybe you want to reach for insides of the legs, the ankles, the feet. Or you could take those peace fingers to the big toes. Again, notice how you can keep that back spread out. So if in reaching more deeply for those feet, we're doing this, maybe choose something a little bit less for now. How can we keep the back spread out? How can we keep that entire spine laying on the mat? Also, another thing that happens is that tailbone can come up. So how can we peel it back down and glue it to the mat? So just notice those points. Maybe you're not quite there yet to get all of those points in the alignment that you want. There is no ideal, there is no perfect. We all have different bodies. But just bringing your attention to that movement or that stretch or that openness is step one. So from here, take a breath in the center. We'll exhale, again, just stretching into the legs a little bit more, but move very slowly and mindfully. Again, keeping those shoulder blades on the earth. Really open up the chest here. Breathe. Take one more stretch on each side, continuing to spread those shoulder blades out. And we'll release the bind. Let's take those legs up to the sky once again. Press through the heels on an inhale. You can have those hands by your sides or under the lower back. And slowly lower those legs, challenging the core here. Press that lower back into the mat. Take your time. Once you bring those legs down, maybe you want to hover them a couple of inches, continuing to challenge the core. Press the lower back into the earth. One more breath here, and lower down. We'll take ourselves onto our left side, making our way to our bellies. So however you want to get there, take a moment now. And I know that when we're in class, we're in a certain, facing a certain direction, but here maybe you have more ability to move around your mat or take a different angle. So hopefully it isn't too confusing and you're not, trying to move and flip and all of that. So thank you for your patience as I offer you or don't offer you transitions. All right, we're going to start with those hands under the shoulders, pin those elbows into the ribs, wiggle in, and take your breath in as you lift with the lower back. And noticing what you're feeling in that upper back. Can you spread out those shoulder blades? Can you spread out the chest? So as we move into the lower back, we're really still focusing on the upper back and the chest. Lower down. Inhale, take it up again. So again, using that lower back, but how can you engage the upper back or the chest while you're here? Can you roll those shoulders back? Take your breath. Let it go. One more cobra here. Take another breath in. Strong lower back lifts us. Maybe we pull the hands off this time. Roll the shoulders back. You might walk those shoulder blades together slightly, so toning the whole back here. One more breath in, and we lower down. Let's take a child's pose, countering those back bends. So as we stretch those hips back to the heels, maybe you have those arms out overhead, finding a deeper shoulder stretch and also stretching the latissimus dorsi, those big muscles through the mid-back, through most of the back, all the way to the sides. As you exhale, let that heart, let that chest melt farther down into your mat. And then slowly move on to the belly once more. Now this time we're going to bring those elbows in line with the shoulders. So those elbows are hopefully coming straight down from the shoulders. Spreading out those fingers, the arms are parallel. Take your gaze just out ahead of your mat. And again, we're going to lift with that lower back, so strengthening there. Sometimes these parts of our back or our bodies cannot be separated so easily. So in using our lower back, we're also going to engage the upper back or vice versa. So in your next breath, we lift with that lower back. And here again, draw those shoulders away from the ears. How can you broaden the chest? It may be the smallest movement, just minuscule, opening up that chest. As you do that, you might feel engagement in the arms. Press the hip bones down into the mat. Draw the navel into the spine. What do you feel in your upper back? Keep the breath moving. Lift a little higher. Open up the chest. I'm shaking a little bit because there's this very subtle, almost isometric movement. So things are happening. And lower down. We'll take those hands a little bit ahead of us. So the elbows are still in line with the shoulders, but they're ahead of the shoulders. Arms are parallel. Fingers are spread wide. And this time as we lift up, still using that lower back, we're going to press into the hands just a bit more and start to straighten those arms. So we don't have to lock out the elbows, but start to straighten a bit. So again, we're using the lower back primarily to get into this posture. But then when you arrive, can you open up that chest? Again, it might be a minuscule movement, but we're noticing, we're drawing attention there. Can you walk those shoulder blades together? Strong, toned upper back, stretching the chest. One more breath in, and then slowly, how slowly can you lower down? Go ahead and press back to another child's pose. Taking any other movements you want, maybe knees wide, or maybe you want to reach back into a smaller ball. What would serve you right now? In this child's pose, take a moment to ground yourself. Ground yourself through that third eye, that space just above the brow line, center of the forehead. Grounding on the earth, on a block, on stacked fists or palms. Notice your breath. Come back to your intention. Has it changed? What do you need now? And then we'll extend slowly. Maybe you creep back onto the belly. And take your time. Treat that body like it's very delicate sometimes, and just take it slowly and help it along. Drape it back down on the mat. Okay. Taking these hands about an inch or two away from the edges of the mat. And you can see that I can bring those elbows over the wrists. So those shoulders, the elbows are coming straight out from the shoulders. And then that elbow is over the wrist. So from this position, as I can see myself, you can't really see my shoulders. It's an interesting posture as it is. So just here right now, without even moving into this posture, I'm feeling a deep stretch across my chest. And so as I mentioned, since that is directly connected to that upper back, as I'm feeling that stretch across my chest, I'm toning that upper back. Those shoulder blades are walking together, and there's some strength and toning going on there. So ground through those hands, press the heel of the hand into the earth. Elbows again are right over the wrists. In your next breath, using that strong lower back again, we're going to start to come up. So stretching the chest, maybe the stretch of the chest is a little bit less as you then press up, and we're stretching the upper back. So down as you exhale. I call this spider. It looks like a spider to me, but it's really like a wide-armed cobra. I don't have the Sanskrit word for spider. I should look that up. Lower down. So take a few rounds of this posture. Maybe closing the eyes, really focusing on that breath, and use the lower back to lift but notice how the chest and upper back are engaged. If you want to go deeper into this posture, especially if you want to stretch and open the chest and the heart more, on your next lower, see if you can come to those fingertips. Just kind of tenting those fingers. That we have other little spiders that have bounced off of the mother spider here. We did this for Halloween. Lift up again. So a little bit more stretch and depth in this posture when we walk to those fingertips, especially if you just pause here. So if you ever need to just stretch the chest deeply by itself, this would be a good posture to really open up that chest. You can also take your hands through a doorway and stretch. Maybe you've seen that. This is similar to that. Keep going with your breath up and down with intention, moving mindfully. No rush. One more. And release. We're going to bring those hands still beyond the edges of the mat. So those elbows are coming right up from the shoulders again. So we kind of have this cactus or goalpost arms here. You can lock that chin down onto the mat for now. Root through those hip bones. And in your next inhalation, we're just going to lift those arms up off of the mat so that chin stays engaged. And we just lift those arms up. So again, stretching the chest, toning the upper back. Stay with your breath. Small movements here, but they can feel really intense. Let's take one more. And then we'll walk those hands back under the shoulders, press back into that child's pose again. Stretch out that upper back. And now we'll walk into a tabletop position. Moving into our next pranayama in our three-part complete breath. So plant those hands right under the shoulders. Those hips are over the knees. And just release that back so we're not holding anything too tightly. Draw the navel in, but don't crunch up into an arch of any sort quite yet. So here we're just going to drop that belly down first, and then the ribs and the chest shines through, inhaling the whole while. Exhale, draw the navel in. Pull the navel in, pull the ribs in, and bring that chest back. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Really shine that chest through, stretch it out. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. We'll take one more. And all the way out. Back to neutral. Let's walk those hands out ahead of the shoulders a bit. Tuck the toes, sending those hips high to our first downward facing dog of our practice. Pedal it out here. Really move that heart back to the thighs. Again, see if you can stretch and engage that chest. And notice how the upper back feels. Take a breath in, raising that right leg up. And we'll scoop it through to a low lunge. You might use those blocks on the sides here to find stability. Front knee is over the ankle, so sink forward so that that front knee is directly there, not ahead of the ankle. Back knee is behind the hip. And we can move that right hip back, send that left hip forward, stabilizing here, scissoring the thighs. Hands might be at heart center. We can inhale them up. Exhale, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, reach up again. Exhale, this time, take those arms wide. So opening the chest, toning that upper back. Here is our focus today. Take your gaze up and breathe. As you inhale, imagine those fingers moving slightly. And exhale, draw the shoulder blades together even more. Take it back up on an inhale. And exhale, frame that front foot. We can get to the toes of that back foot and then step it up to meet the right. Hang here in a forward fold, shake it out, let that head, arms feel heavy, let that back release. We'll plant those hands. You can bend up those knees as much as needed. In your next in-breath, we're going to come right up into a chair pose. Now, a chair is one that takes a little bit of setting up, so I don't expect anybody to hit perfect chair ever, but especially not straight from this forward fold. So from here, we sink those hips back, be able to wiggle those toes, be able to see the toes in front of your knees. And then if you have this arch in your back, take it out. So in toning the back here, it's best done with those arms straight out. You could certainly have arms at heart center, out to the side if you just want to experience chair, strengthening the legs. But for our theme today, if you want to continue to focus on that, arms by the ears. And then slide those shoulder blades down the back. So really strength from the upper back here as we hold this chair. Breathe. Next breath in sends us all the way up. Exhale, bring those hands straight down through heart center. Plant the hands, step back into your version of plank. Press the floor away. Strong upper back here. Inhale, and then exhale, lower down, either knees, chest, chin, or we shift through chaturanga. Inhale again into cobra. Exhale, release, tuck the toes, send hips high to downward facing dog. Pedal it out. When you're ready, we lift that left leg up on an inhale. And exhale, send it through to low lunge. Take as many steps as you need to get there. And we sink into that front knee again, keeping that knee over the ankle. And you could slide this other leg back. Foot is flat. Stretch through the quadricep. Scissor those thighs by drawing that left hip back. Excuse me. Yes, left hip back, right hip forward. And then maybe you send those arms up on an inhale. Exhale, drop the shoulders away. Inhale up again. And then exhale, cactus those arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening that heart. Inhale. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades closer. Next breath in, brings those arms back up. Exhale, frame the front foot. And then we step those feet together here. Let's hang once again. Move back and forth, shake it out. And then you know where we're going on this side. We're going to go into another chair. So you can plant those hands or let them hang or get them prepared. And we start to bend those knees and send yourself up into that chair. So take a moment to align. I'm finding that arch in my back again, so I don't find that chair directly either. Taking that bend out of the back. Again, be able to see those toes in front of the knee. So if you're way up here, shift back and sit down a little more deeply. Strong arms. Send those fingers up to the sky. Slide those shoulder blades down the back. Breathe. One more breath in. Sink a little deeper. And then inhale, take it all the way up. And hands down to heart center. Pause here in our mountain pose. Moving into one more balance pose that's going to involve our back stretch here. So root through that right foot first. We bring that left leg to cross. You can keep it here, or maybe you twist that left foot around the calf. Take those arms out to the sides. This is our third opportunity for eagle arms today. Maybe you've chosen them, maybe not. Sweep, the left arm under the right. And then you could cross and take opposite shoulders or twist up those arms. So when we do eagle, the arm that's on the bottom and the leg that's on top are the same side. And maybe you raise those arms up or send those elbows away. Squeeze the thighs together, find that steady gazing point. Pull the navel into the spine. One more breath in. Slowly release, take your time. Float. And all the way down. And we'll move directly to the other side, so rooting through that left foot. You can take this right leg up and cross it over, and maybe you can wrap this foot on this side. It doesn't have to happen, but maybe each side is different. Take the arms out, and then we float the right arm under the left, cross, and you decide if you want to twist up those arms on this side. Raising the hands, maybe moving those elbows away, sink a little deeper. Keep that steady gazing point. One more breath in. Slowly release, float back. And all the way down. Find yourself at the top of your mat. We'll take a breath in, reach up, gather that energy. Exhale, send it out, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold, plant those hands, step or hop back to your plank. Press the floor away, breathe in, and then exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release, and then take those hips back to the heels for one more child's pose. And then we'll stretch onto our bellies. Make your way onto your back. When you arrive, draw those knees into the chest. And let's just rock back and forth. Plant those feet. We'll take those knees over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale them over to the left. Back to the center here. Bring those knees wide. Draw that lower back down to the earth. Imagine opening that chest. Imagine squeezing those shoulder blades together here. Let's plant those hands at the belly. Our last pranayama, samavriti, equal breath. Maybe you assign a count to the in-breath and then out. We'll take 3 deep rounds of samavriti. When you've finished this pranayama, take any other movements, stretches, postures that would help you complete your practice. Fish pose is another great chest opener, toning the upper back as well, if that interests you at any point, if you're repeating this practice. When you're ready, stretch into your final relaxation pose, knowing that you can take this shavasana well beyond the close of our practice. Take as long as you need in your own space. Gently begin to bring your attention back to this space. Again, take this shavasana as long as you wish. If you're joining me, you might take a full body stretch now, or pull those knees gently into the chest. Make your way to one side of your mat. Take your time, take a breath. And press up to seated. I invite you to bring hands to heart center. No matter where you are on your journey in this week, year, or lifetime, I thank you for pausing today to share this practice with me. The light, love, and peace in me recognizes and honors the light, love, and peace in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks again for coming to your mats. It looks like we have a better frame here. We have a wider angle, so I'm excited for that. You can see my head. Again, we take each day as it comes. Thank you for showing up. There are a couple of notes and additions and changes to the holiday week class schedule. So check that out under the events if there's a class that you regularly attend online. Check it out. I'll keep you posted with any other changes happening and any additional classes that I'm teaching. Thank you for bringing yourself to your mat today. Have a beautiful Thursday and a great weekend.